Good evening, everyone, and welcome back to Clutch Kits. My name is Calvin, and today we're diving into the world of automotive history to explain one of the most iconic cars to ever grace the highways and silver screen, the DMC DeLorean. This stainless steel beauty is known for its futuristic looks and, of course, its role in the Back to the Future trilogy. But there's a deeper story here, one filled with ambition, innovation, and even scandal. Beyond its Hollywood fame, the DeLorean carries a legacy of risk-taking, engineering marvels, and some dramatic twists and turns that you might not expect. So buckle up, because the ride is about much more than a cool car. It's a tale of a visionary, a dream, and a machine that challenged the status quo. To understand the DeLorean, we need to start with the man behind it, John Z. DeLorean. DeLorean wasn't just any car designer. He was one of the most revolutionary minds in the auto industry. Born in Detroit in 1925, DeLorean was practically destined to become part of the automotive world. After all, this was the Motor City, and DeLorean's father worked in a Ford plant. But young John didn't just follow the typical path. He studied industrial engineering, which was the first step toward his future in car innovation. DeLorean joined General Motors in 1956, and it didn't take long for him to make his mark. Just 9 years later, in 1965, he became the youngest division head in GM's history, taking over as the general manager of the Pontiac division. And it was here that DeLorean would cement his reputation. His name is synonymous with the Pontiac GTO, a car often credited with kickstarting the muscle car era in the 1960s. If you were into fast cars back then, the GTO was likely at the top of your list. But DeLorean wasn't done. Under his leadership, Pontiac also introduced the Firebird, another car that became a symbol of American performance and power. In 1969, DeLorean was promoted to lead Chevrolet, GM's crown jewel. The brand was responsible for nearly half of GM's total sales at the time, so this was a huge deal. His ability to think outside the box and innovate kept Chevrolet thriving, but his independent streak didn't sit well with GM's conservative corporate culture. DeLorean famously clashed with the leadership over his desire for more creative freedom, and in 1973, he left General Motors. By that time, he was already a star in the automotive world. He wasn't just any executive. He had transformed the very idea of what an American car could be. He had a dream of creating a car company that was radically different, one that wasn't tied down by corporate red tape. He envisioned a car that combined luxury, safety, and cutting-edge technology. And so, the DeLorean Motor Company was born in 1975. The car that John DeLorean dreamed up was as daring as the man himself. Officially named the DMC-12, though everyone just calls it the DeLorean, this car was meant to be something revolutionary. DeLorean wanted a vehicle that was not only fast and stylish, but also ethical. His vision included an innovative design, safety features, and an affordable price tag for a sports car. Designed by the renowned Italian designer Giorgetto Giugiaro, the DeLorean's aesthetics were straight out of a science fiction novel. Its most eye-catching feature? Those iconic gull-wing doors, which open upward like a bird in flight. The stainless steel body, left unpainted, gave the car a sleek, futuristic look that was unlike anything else on the road. This wasn't just a car, it was a statement. But DeLorean didn't just want his car to look good, he wanted it to be ahead of its time in terms of performance and safety. The DMC-12 featured a rear-mounted 2.8-liter V6 engine developed by Peugeot Renault Volvo, which was unusual for cars of that era. Additionally, the car came equipped with a multi-link rear suspension, an advanced system designed to provide better handling and stability. What's truly fascinating is that DeLorean's vision for the car wasn't just about aesthetics or speed. He was deeply focused on making the car as safe as it was stylish. The brushed stainless steel panels were not only striking, but incredibly durable and resistant to rust. The gull-wing doors, while flashy, were also practical in tight parking spots. But despite its many innovations, the DeLorean's story is not one of smooth success. Setting up a brand new production facility in Dunmurry, Northern Ireland, took longer and cost more than expected. The car was initially supposed to be released in 1979, but delays pushed production back to 1981. This delay caused frustration among investors and hurt the company's cash flow. One of the biggest factors in choosing this location was the financial support offered by the British government. During the late 1970s, Northern Ireland was experiencing high unemployment and significant social unrest due to the Troubles, a period of conflict between Unionists and Nationalists lasting about 30 years. The British government was eager to create jobs and stimulate the economy in the region, so they were willing to offer generous incentives to companies willing to invest there. The British government provided around £100 million, equivalent to about $120 million at the time, in grants, loans, and other financial backing to help DeLorean establish a production facility. This made Northern Ireland an attractive option for DeLorean, who needed a large amount of capital to get the company up and running. When production finally began, DeLorean Motor Company faced a mountain of challenges. The car was originally priced at $12,000, which was ambitious but feasible. However, by the time the DeLorean hit the market, its price had ballooned to over $25,000, roughly equivalent to $84,000 today. For that price, buyers could purchase luxury cars from well-established brands like Mercedes or BMW. While the DeLorean had the looks, it struggled to compete with the performance of its rivals. The 2.8-liter V6 engine, which delivered around 130 horsepower, was underwhelming for a sports car, particularly in the American market, where muscle cars with more powerful engines were the norm. European models fared slightly better, with around 160 horsepower, but even that wasn't enough to meet expectations. The rear engine layout also made handling tricky, with oversteering being a common complaint. Despite these issues, there was something undeniably magnetic about the DeLorean. It was the kind of car that made people stop and stare, even if it wasn't the fastest on the road. But the road ahead was about to get a lot bumpier for John DeLorean. In 1982, just 1 year after production began, DeLorean Motor Company was in deep financial trouble. Sales were slow, and the company was hemorrhaging money. In a desperate attempt to save the company, John DeLorean was caught up in a massive scandal. The FBI accused him of attempting to traffic 55 pounds of cocaine into the United States to fund his struggling business. The amount of drugs in question was worth around $24 million at the time, a sum that could have helped keep the DeLorean dream alive. The case made headlines around the world. How could a man who had risen to the top of the automotive world fall so far? It was a shocking moment for the industry, and it seemed like the end for both John DeLorean and his car. But in a dramatic twist, DeLorean was acquitted of all charges in 1984. The jury found that he had been entrapped by the FBI. It turned out that the entire drug deal had been orchestrated by DeLorean's neighbor, who was working as an informant for the FBI to reduce his own sentence. Although DeLorean was legally cleared, the damage was done. The DeLorean Motor Company had already declared bankruptcy, and production of the DMC-12 had ceased. Fewer than 9,000 DeLoreans were ever made, and it seemed like the car's brief run was over. Just when it seemed like the DeLorean would fade into obscurity, a certain time-traveling movie gave it a second lease on life. In 1985, Back to the Future hit theaters, and the DeLorean was transformed from a commercial failure into a pop culture icon. Doc Brown's time machine made the car instantly recognizable around the world. Suddenly, everyone wanted to know more about this strange stainless steel car with the gull-wing doors. The DeLorean's role in Back to the Future is iconic, but its selection as the time machine wasn't an immediate choice. Originally, the time machine in early drafts of the script was envisioned as a device housed within a refrigerator. However, the creators, director Robert Zemeckis and writer Bob Gale, felt that a more mobile and visually exciting option was needed. The DeLorean stood out as a perfect fit. When the filmmakers were choosing a vehicle for the time machine, its distinctive appearance made it feel almost otherworldly. The car's stainless steel body also helped sell the visual effect of time travel when the DeLorean hit 88 miles per hour and left fiery trails in its wake. In the movie, Doc Brown even jokes about the choice of the car, saying, "If you're going to build a time machine into a car, why not do it with some style?" So the DeLorean was chosen not just because it looked futuristic, but because it added a sense of style, fun, and believability to the idea of a time-traveling car. Its sleek stainless steel aesthetic helped elevate it from just a car to one of cinema's most famous vehicles. Overnight, the DeLorean became a symbol of innovation, imagination, and nostalgia. Collectors began to scoop up the remaining cars, and a dedicated fan base emerged. Today, DeLorean owners cherish their cars, with some going to great lengths to restore them to their original glory. Prices for well-maintained DeLoreans have skyrocketed in recent years. One sold for $243,000 at an auction in 2021, and screen-used models, like the one from Back to the Future 3, fetched over $500,000. Even though the DeLorean was a commercial failure, its legacy has endured. There's a DeLorean Motor Company in Texas today that owns the rights to the brand. They provide parts, restorations, and even offer the possibility of building new cars from old stock. The DeLorean, once a symbol of unrealized potential, has become a beloved piece of automotive history. The story of the DeLorean is a testament to daring to dream, even when the odds are stacked against you. It's a story of ambition, risk, and ultimately, the power of a great idea. The DeLorean may not have changed the world the way John DeLorean envisioned, but it's found a lasting place in our hearts, where it continues to inspire new generations. If you enjoyed the video, please remember to like and subscribe. Until next time, have a good evening.